Yo, what is good, YouTube? Welcome back to another JC2K video. In today's video, we're doing episode number 14 of I Build Your Teams, series where I build my viewers' teams with the best teams possible for my team showdown, whatever you might play. Before we hop into the video, if you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Help me push towards the 40,000 subscriber mark on the channel. I'm uploading every single day, multiple videos daily. Would really appreciate it if y'all do subscribe. Without further ado, let's hop right into it. So, starting off, first team from today, I thought this kind of be a fun one because this dude does not have really any cards on his team. He's basically sitting here asking me to build him a whole team, it looks like. So I am totally fine with that, to be totally honest. And what I will say, first and foremost, he's level 20 something already. That D-Rob, despite there being a free Opal D-Rob, is still going for 150 plus thousand MT. I would sell him and you'll be over 1.8 million. Now, with that being said, you have D-Book, Sean Elliott, and basically nothing else. And I guess eventually, relatively soon, Opal D-Rob, because you're level 20 something. So let's throw Opal D-Rob here in the big man spot. Let's throw Jack Sigma in as one of your bigs because you can get him from free from Triple Threat Park today. I would recommend that. PJ Brown as a backup big because he's really, really good. And you know what? We'll do DeAndre Ayton at the center position for a nice low budget center because you probably don't want to spend all your MT. You got Devin Booker, you got Sean Elliott. I like that. I'm totally cool with those two guys playing. I think that's going to be totally fine. Now, I would say small forward position, you got to get some slightly more budget options, in my opinion. At least off the bench, you could go, you know what? This is who I'd recommend. I'm going to go Glenn Robinson off the bench. I'm going to go Paulo Banchero, who's probably about 200K as your starter. I would add, this is going to be the one big purchase. Now, everybody else, Sigma's free, PJ Brown's a buyout, Glenn Robinson's a buyout, Ayton's cheap, D-Rob's free. You've probably only spent, let's say, 50, 80, 130, 150, 100. I think actually Ayton's like 40K now, so maybe 100 and... You know what? Changing this up a little bit. We're going to go AC Green here instead. So between your bench, these three guys, you're going maybe 50K, another 80K, 130, maybe a little over 200K. We'll say 225K to be safe. Paulo's another, we'll say 175K to overestimate. So that's 300K. And then you got your shooting guard and point guard positions to fill. This is the spot where I would consider spending some MT. Dyson Daniels could be about 200K. Dr. J probably going to cost you about 700K. In total, this is about probably $1 million to a little bit more than $1 million. Even if you want to go cheaper, actually, to save a little bit more MT. Let's go Alex Caruso at the one. Provide a cheaper defensive point guard is going to give you similar value on the court as Dyson Daniels is. This team probably costs you about $1 million MT to build from here, maybe a little bit more, but you're still going to have 800K MT left and a much, much better all-around team. This is the type of squad that I would consider building for right now. I think Dr. J is just an absolute must-have at the shooting guard position. Best shooting guard in the game by far, and everybody else is somewhat budget to somewhat expensive, but not unbelievably expensive for this team. And this is kind of the squad that I'd be looking to build from what you have right now. This is where I'd go. Second team today comes in from my boy Carson Papermaker. He's got a pretty decent little team. Now, he is a Blazers fan, which is why he's got CJ and Dame as his point guards. I totally get that, and I support it. With that being said, I would do two things. Number one, I would get that free Jack Sigma tomorrow, just because he gives you a much better shooting power forward option compared to Kareem and Alonzo. And if you're struggling with those guys' limitations as shooters because their jumpers aren't very good, you have Sigma as well you can sub. And I know you have Willis Reed as well to do that, but Sigma's kind of a better version. So I'd consider picking him up for free tomorrow. Outside of that, 367K MT, I would get a taller, more defensive point guard just so you have another point guard option in the event that you need it. Realistically, who would that be? I'm not totally certain. You could, well, again, I think I'd just go Alex Caruso, the cheaper, more affordable option. And I think that's probably the best buy for this team. You get free Sigma, you get Alex Caruso to give yourself more of a defensive point guard in case you're really struggling with Dame and CJ. I know that they're your Blazers guys, your legends, but it's good to have another point guard option just in case, even if you are using your favorite cards, in the event that you feel like you need them, late game situation when you need to get a stop, all that type of stuff. Caruso would be a really nice option to slot in there. Next team today comes in from Tapped Out. Says he's got this is the current team, and he's got about 1.5 million MT once he finishes Dom. Okay, so looking at this team, you got 3 point guards. You got Gary, Pete, and Bronny. I'd take Bronny out the lineup, probably start Gary and bring Pete off the bench, but you could do vice versa, however you want. But those two guys should be at your point guard positions. Jaime and Jay at the small forwards is totally fine. Paulo at power forward is great. Harrison Barnes, DeAndre Ayton and Jermaine O'Neal is okay. I would bring DeAndre Ayton off the bench. I would bring AC Green as your starting power forward, and I would your backup power forward to Paulo. And I think I would try to get that Sigma card as well as another center option. And then once you get D-Rob, you can sell Aiden and have D-Rob and Sigma as your centers. Then you need a shooting guard. Richard Jefferson's a good option as a shooting guard, or Eddie Jones. Those are good guys who I think are mid-tier priced guys. But consider one of those guys. You could also pay the larger chunk of MT for a Dr. J if you wanted to. He is very expensive, but he's worth the price because he is so good. So I would consider that as well if you really needed a shooting guard. If you want like the top tier guy. Anyway, other guys, Eddie Jones will do a great job for a much more affordable price. Same thing with Richard Jefferson. So I'd consider one of those cards as well. That would give you a 10-man lineup, something along the lines of Gary, Eddie, Jaime, Paulo, eventually D-Rob, Pete, T-Mac, Jay, AC Green, and Jack Sigma. That's like the eventual 10-man lineup. I think that's a really, really solid squad. Fourth team today comes in from Mason, says he's got about 412K MT, and he's hoping to get Sigma. Sigma would definitely help this team be your best big man. Him and PJ Brown are your two best centers by far. You're only level 13. Got to get on that grind for David Robinson as much as you can. Make sure you're using your double XP tokens, all that stuff. Looks like it might be a little bit before you get there, but that's okay. But I would say you need point guards. There aren't a ton of really good, like super budget point guards in my team right now, to be totally honest. I would get Alex Caruso, and then I think I would just run whoever you prefer between Chauncey and Bronny for the time being until we get another really good budget point guard. Two shooting guards, I mean, Danny and T-Mac isn't unbelievable, but it's fine, especially with the amount of MT you have. Harrison Barnes, Scotty Barnes, I don't hate it. Jay Crowder should be playing that small forward position though over Scotty Barnes once you get him for free. That'll be fine. And then you can have Cat, PJ, Jack, Sigma, and I don't love Coleman or Randall, honestly, at the power forwards. I would consider getting AC Green again, because then you could start AC and Sigma and bring Cat and PJ off the bench. That would be ideal. Team isn't going to be perfect, but if you have like Caruso, T-Mac, Jay, AC, and Sigma, and then off the bench you got Chauncey, Danny, Harrison Barnes. Make sure you got a couple defensive badges on him as well. And then Cat and PJ, that to me feels like the best lineup you're going to be building right now without spending all of your MT. Next, we got Romer. And again, of course, once you get D-Rob, you can slot him in at that center position, take Sigma to the bench and have Sigma and PJ Brown. Take Cat out the lineup. That would be nice as well. Next squad's from Romer, though, like I said. He's got 40K MT. He needs help. Everyone except for Booker is sellable, which is good. With that being said, Baron needs to come off the bench. Booker needs to start. So those are your 2 point guards, Baron and Booker. Got to get Darius Garland and Chauncey Billups out the lineup entirely. Eddie Jones can slide to the 2. You need a backup shooting guard. Danny Green, probably your best option, because I think a budget card's going to be better here. Sell Darius Garland. Probably sell Embiid. As good as Embiid is, is he worth, how much is Embiid going for right now? Like 400K MT or so? He might not actually be that expensive. He might be 300K. You need MT though, and that's why I would say maybe selling Embiid is kind of the way to go here. And then you can replace him. I know the AC Green isn't perfect, but I think he's a better option. You're only level 5. If you can get Sigma tomorrow, that'd be really nice. That will help your team out a lot. So let's just say D-Book, Baron, Eddie, and Danny Green. Small forwards could be Glenn Robinson and Josh Hart. Power forwards are AC Green, Al Harrington, and then centers are Sigma and Holmgren. That would be a really nice team. Start using those double XP tokens though. Start trying to get towards D-Rob. He would be a big addition to your center position as well. And then the final squad today comes in from my boy Trent. First is his team. Second is what he wants it to be in a couple weeks. Don't know if he'll like Smart, but stats look good. I think you'll like Smart. Smart looks really, really good. He's coming out here in just a couple weeks. So we got Levine and CP, Dr. J, Artest, Paul George, and Thurl, Kareem and PJ, and then KP and D-Rob. This is a really good team, and he's got 1.8 mil as well. It's a phenomenal squad. This is kind of what he's thinking for the squad eventually once Rudy Gay is out, once Marcus Smart's out. I'm cool with that. I actually like the Smart defense next to Dr. J. It gives you more shot creation off the bench with Levine and Rudy. I definitely like that, having those guys off the bench. Rudy's going to be a dog. That card's going to be really, really good. I'm excited about him. But overall, I think... I don't know if I'd actually make any changes right now, to be totally honest. I might pick up another small forward, but Rudy Gay is coming out soon. So I don't remember exactly which drop he's coming out. I don't know if he's next week or the week after, but you could just run Thurl for now. Honestly, this is a really well-built team. I don't know if I'd make any actual changes right now. Maybe you get that free Sigma tomorrow, so you have another shooting power forward just in case Kareem's pissing you off. I know Kareem's really tall, but his low 3-ball can be annoying at the power forward position. I'd consider that. That's about it, honestly. This is not a squad I have a lot of changes for. I really think it's a well-built team. This is a very, very good team. I hope y'all did enjoy the video. If you did, make sure you hit that like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. I'll be back with more 2K content very, very soon. I appreciate y'all. Base.